Hello and welcome to Diabetes Connections in the News. I'm Stacey Sims, and these are the top diabetes stories and headlines of the past 7 days. All sources are linked up at diabetes-connections.com. In the News is brought to you by T1D Exchange. T1D Exchange is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving outcomes for the entire T1D population. Our top story this week is still developing, but Bloomberg reports that Dexcom is in talks to acquire Insulet, the makers of Omnipod. Neither company has commented publicly on the report. Bloomberg says, quote, talks between the companies are ongoing. An agreement could be reached in the coming weeks, said the people who asked not to be identified because the information is private. Discussions could still be delayed or fall apart, the people said, end quote. Insulet's stock has gone up. Dexcom's has gone down. These companies already have an agreement in which the Omnipod patch pump and the Dexcom CGM communicate. Dexcom also has an agreement with Tandem and other companies. Those are not expected to change in the short term, but there are a lot more questions than answers about this report. I'm scheduled to talk to Dexcom CEO in early June, and we'll continue to follow this story. Meanwhile, Dexcom and Abbott are currently going head-to-head over 12 separate patents covering their respective CGMs. Both companies are launching newer products soon, the Dexcom G7 and the Freestyle Libre 3. Dexcom first sued in 2021. Abbott then countersued. A UK High Court will hold 3 separate technical trials planned for December of this year and then April and July of next year. People with type 1 are living longer, according to a new study based on data from Australia, Denmark, Latvia, Scotland, Spain, and the US. The years analyzed varied by country, but overall, they cover 2000 to 2016 and include what they call 1.5 million person years. The data show that country by country, annual changes in all-cause mortality among people with type 1 dropped by between 2% and nearly 6% over the study period. The risk of dying was still higher than in people without type 1, mostly because of diabetes complications. A new study finds that herpes virus may contribute to an increased risk of type 2. Herpes viruses are one of the most common viruses in humans, with 8 types currently known. Any of these can cause lifelong latent infections after an initial, usually mild or asymptomatic infection. Until recently, viruses had only been thought of as a potential trigger for the development of type 1. This study was based on health data from nearly 2,000 people, men and women, in Germany. The researchers found that herpesviruses consistently and complementarily contributed to the development of prediabetes and diabetes, even after accounting for things like gender and age and smoking and BMI and physical activity. The researchers say this is just the beginning of looking at this link. This one sounds kind of odd, but a one-time diabetes treatment may lower average blood sugar and improve long-term insulin resistance and pancreatic function. The company is Fractal. The treatment is an outpatient procedure that applies heat to the intestinal walls to, quote, strip out and reset the mucosal lining, which can thicken over years from dietary fats, sugars, and other foods. Fractal believes this thickening contributes to the insulin resistance seen in type 2. The device has breakthrough FDA designation, but no approval yet. It is approved in Europe. Right back to the news in a moment, but first, let me tell you about the T1D Exchange Registry. They do it online over time, and it's designed to foster innovation and improve the lives of people with type 1. Personal information remains confidential. Your participation is fully voluntary. Once you're enrolled, you can complete annual surveys. You have the opportunity to sign up for other studies on specific topics related to T1D. By sharing your opinion, your experiences, and your data, patients can help advance meaningful T1D treatment, care, and policy. Sign up at t1dexchange.org/Stacey. That is t1dexchange.org/STACEY. Back to the news now. Cameron Kenny just climbed Mt Everest and unfurled the JDRF flag at the summit. Kenny is an accomplished climber. He raised money for JDRF during his prep and climb of Everest. Interestingly, he doesn't live with diabetes. His brother does, but I can't seem to find the brother's name or any information anywhere here, even in the JDRF posts that were shared. So if you know this family or anything more about this story, I would love to find out more. Please let me know. On this week's long format episode, you're going to hear about Mike Joyce. He just started out on the final trail of what is called the Triple Crown of long distance hiking. He is going to be on the Pacific Crest Trail for a few months now, and of course doing it all with type 1. So he explained before he set out how he manages on this kind of incredible long-distance hike. And next week, you're going to hear about Type 1 way ticket travel, a new way to let teenagers with Type 1 experience international adventure travel. You can listen wherever you get your podcasts. And that is it for In the News this week. If you like it, please share it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you back here soon.
Diabetes Connections is a production of Stacey Sims Media. All rights reserved, all wrongs avenged.